Hello everyone, I am Cindy from Crochet. Today I'm going to teach you how to make the Wonderland Book's cover. So this one is a keyhole concept and this one you can decorate it with the paper clip. For other stationery, please see the link in the description box. I have two styles of cover. The first one is the door to tea party and the next one is the door to rose garden. Okay. Also, I have other tutorials from tea party, which is the hat, the watch, the flamingo, the hedgehog, Alice as well, and also the white rabbit in her red costume and also the gentleman costume. Also, I also have DIY costume if you want to attend the real tea party. I have Alice costume and the Queen of Hearts costume. You can check all the link of my tutorial in the description box below. I also have the written PDF version. If you are interested, please see the link in the description. The pattern includes all my Wonderland creation. I hope you like it. We are going to start off with the key party key. Okay, we're going to use the 4-ply yarn and 3mm crochet hook. First, for the first row, you will start with 6 chain in green color and 5 chain in white color. So basically, you can just follow the code I wrote on the screen. For the color of the text will represent the color that you need to use. Okay, and then after you make 5 chain in white, you will change it into green one again and make 6 chain in green. Alright, and after that we make 5 chain in white and then 6 chain in green. Okay, and then for the second row you make 3 chain and then turn, and then you make 6 DC in green color. 1 2 3. Okay, and then you make it until you have 6 DC. Alright, and then after you finish 6 DC, you're going to change the color when you are going to start off with the next stitch. Just pull in the white yarn. And for the next tip is that you might need to hide the green yarn inside the white stitch. So what you are doing, you won't see the green yarn hanging around at the back of your work, because you need to take turn the whole time. So it is very necessary that you try to hide the yarn behind these stitches, and then make 5 DC and then change it into green color, and then make 5 DC in green and then 5 DC in white and then 6 DC in green. After you finish this row, you are going to have 27 stitches. Okay, for the third row, we are going to make 3 chain and then turn and then make 2 DC together. This one is the way you make decrease, So make decrease 2 DC together, decrease like this, and then make 4 DC in green. 1 2 3 4, and then change it into 5 DC in white and then change it into 5 DC in green, and then change it to 5 DC in white. Okay, after you finish this row, you are going to have 25 stitches, and then for row 4 you will make 3 chain and then turn and then make 6 DC in green and then chain to 3 DC in white. And after that you will see 2 DC together with half white and half green. So you make each DC in white and another one in green, and then you make decrease. Okay, and you make until you finish this row. You are going to have 23 stitches, and then for row 5 and row 6 I am going to change the pattern into the white first by making 3 chain in white and then turn and then make 2 DC together, and yeah, this is 2 DC together. Then you make 4 DC in white and then follow the code I wrote on the screen. After you finish the 5th row, you are going to have 21 stitches. Okay. Alright, and then you continue row 6. After you finish row 6, you are going to have 19 stitches. Okay, and then continue row 7 and 8. You will get after row 8 you will get 15 stitches. Follow the code I wrote on the screen, and then this is row 9. Row 9 you start off with 3 chain and then turn, and then keep doing the same thing as the code I wrote on the screen. If you have already understand this, it's not so hard. After you finish row 9, you will have 13 stitches, and after you finish row 10, you will have 11 stitches. So please notice that you will reduce 2 stitches each row, so keep doing so. This is not so hard, it is pretty simple after you have done a few stitches. Okay, and then for row 11, you will need to change the color again into green. Okay, and then don't forget to hide your yard inside the stitch, you know. So for row 11, you will do the same thing, like decrease for 2 times, and after you finish this row, you are going to have 9 stitches. Okay, now I'm done with row 11. We get 9 stitches at the end, and now we are going to use the blue color. Yeah, the light blue color, very beautiful one. You slip the stitch in and then make 3 chain and then turn, and then make 3 DC in the same stitch. 3 DC would be 1 DC in blue and then 2 DC in white. We make this 3 DC in the same stitch. If you notice my parentage, it means that I want to make these 3 DC in the same stitch. Okay, now I made blue and then I change it to white. Okay, change it to white, and when you make white, you make 2 DC in white, 1 and 2. After that, just follow the code I wrote on the screen until you reach the last stitch, you know. After you make a DC in white in the last stitch, then you change it into blue. So for the last stitch, you will make one white DC and 2 blue DC in the same stitch. After you finish this row, you are going to have 13 stitches. Okay, and then for the next row, which is row 13, we are going to change the color into cream color, and then make 3 chain, 1, 2, 3, and then turn, and then make 3 DC in the same stitch as well, but this time you're going to make 1 DC in cream and 2 DC in white in the same stitch. Okay, after you finish that, just keep making 11 DC in blue, and then until you reach the last stitch, you are going to make 1 DC in blue and 2 DC in brown color. Yeah, so after you finish this row, you are going to have 17 stitches. Okay, and then for row 14, make 3 chain and then turn, and then make 3 DC in the same stitch, 3 bow DC in the same stitch, 1, 2, and 3, and then make 2 DC, and then 2 DC in brown, and then 13 DC in Okay, after you finish 13 DC, it will be your last stitch of this row. You will make 2 DC in cream color and 1 DC in blue color. You make all of them in the same stitch. After you finish this row, you are going to have 21 stitches. Okay, and then for row 15, make 3 chain and then turn, and then you are going to make 3 DC in the same stitch or 3 DC in blue. And after that, you change it into cream color. Make 2 DC in cream color. And then after that, you change it into blue color. Make 13 DC in blue color. Alright, after you finish 13 DC, you change it into brown and then make 4 DC in brown. Okay, and then when you reach the last stitch of the row, you are going to make 3 DC in brown in the same stitch. After you finish this row, you are going to have 25 stitches. Okay, and then for row 16, make 3 chain and then turn. And then you make 6 DC in brown. Okay, after that, change it into blue. Make 8 DC in blue. make 8 DC in blue. Alright, and after that we are going to change it into cream color, still cream color anyway. Oh, I mean it's not actually the same cream color. It's like the bridge color, but in the symbol I use the yellow symbol because in order to distinguish it, but it is actually the bridge number, a little bit darker than the cream one I used previously. So you make 6 DC in the bridge number, and then you change it into cream, and then make 2 DC in cream color. After that, make 3 DC in bridge color. Okay, so after you finish this row, you are going to have 25 stitches. Please notice that from this row, I am not going to increase anymore, so we are going to make just DC. Alright, and then follow 17, make 3 chain and then turn, and then make 3 DC in bridge color. 1, 2, and 3. So this one is not going to be in the same stitch, you know, it is just like the normal DC along the line, and then change it into cream color for 2 DC, 1 and 2. Okay, and then change it into bridge color and then make the bridge color for 4 DC. Make 4 DC of the bridge color. Alright, and then you can follow the code. After you make 4 DC, you will use the light orange color, change it to white or to light orange color. Okay, and then make 2 DC in this white, in this orange. Make 2 DC in orange. Okay. After that, you change it to blue again and then make 8 DC in blue. Okay, keep making 8 DC in blue. Alright, after you finish making 8 DC in blue, you change it into brown color, and then you make 5 DC in brown. After you finish 5 brown DC, change it into blue. After you finish this row, you are going to have 25 stitches, and then follow 18, make 3 chain and then turn, and then make DC in blue. Okay, DC in blue, and then you change it into brown, and then you make 5 DC in brown. After that, change it into blue and then make 9 DC in blue. Then after 9 DC in blue, change it to yellow and make 1 DC in yellow. So it's not yellow, it is orange actually. And then after 1 orange DC, then you change it into bridge and then make 9 DC in bridge color. After you finish this row, you are going to have 25 stitches. Okay, now we are done. And then for row 19, you change into Okay, you are going to make 3 chain and then turn, and then you start decreasing by making 2 DC together in orange, and then make 1 DC, and then you are going to chain it into bridge and then make 4 bridge. Alright, make 4 bridge. After that, chain it into orange again and then make 2 DC in orange. After that, chain it into blue and then make 2 DC in blue, and also then chain it into white and then make 4 DC in white. Okay, after that, chain it into blue and then make 4 DC in blue. After that, change the color to brown and then make 4 DC in brown. After that, change it into blue and then make 2 DC together in blue. After you finish this row, you are going to have 23 stitches. So from this row, we are going to keep decreasing the stitch, And then for row 20, make 3 chain and then turn, and then make 2 DC together with half blue, half brown. Okay, half blue, half brown, which means that you make 1 DC in blue and you make 1 DC in brown and you wrap them up together. And then you continue making 2 DC in brown. After that, you change it into blue, 2 DC in blue. Okay, after that, you change it into white and then make 10 DC in white color. Alright, and then just continue the code I wrote on the screen until you reach the end of the row. When you need to make two DC together with half orange and half blue. Okay, make it half orange and half blue like this. Okay, and then you make 3 chain and then turn. For row 21, make 3 chain and then turn. You are going to make 2 DC together in blue and then change it into orange and then make 2 DC in orange. And then change it into white and make 10 DC in white. After that, you can just follow the code I wrote on the screen. And after you finish this row, you are going to have 19 stitches. Okay, and then there is nothing more complicated than this. You can just continue row 22 and 23 by yourself. And after you finish row 22, you are going to have 15 stitches. And after you finish row 23, you are going to have 11 stitches. Okay, and now I'm going to show you the finished photo of the key. And then the next one is a rose garden key. So for row 1 to row 11, it will be the same thing as the first tea party, but for row 12 from now on it will be different, but of course this one is easier. For row 12, you are going to make 3 chain and then turn and then make 3 DC in the same stitch. Okay, 3 DC in the same stitch. So it is so simple. You use the same color, which is a dark green, and then you make 7 DC and then you make 3 DC in the same stitch at the last one. For row 12, you will have 13 stitches. And then you follow the code I wrote on the screen until you finish row 14, and this one will be switching between dark green and the light blue color. So you make 3 chain and then turn, make 3 DC in the same stitch in dark green, and then make 1 DC in dark green, 1 DC in light blue, and then 2 DC in dark green. Okay, anyway, just follow the code I wrote on the screen. You can capture the screen for your personal use, but please remember that please do not post it elsewhere publicly. Okay, you can capture the screen for your personal use, you know. After you finish row 15, anyway, you are going to have 25 stitches. Okay, after you finish this row and then follow 16, you are going to make 3 chain and then turn and then make DC in blue color. So from row 16 to row 18, you make 25 DC, very simple. And then for row 19, I'm going to make 3 chain turn and then 2 DC together, and then change to white and then make 3 DC like this, and then make 15 DC in blue. Okay, and then follow the code I wrote on the screen. I will go pretty fast because it is quite simple. So row 20, just follow the code, and row 21, just like that. You can capture the screen if you want to. This one is way more simple than the first key. Okay, after you finish that, and then follow 22 and 23, just follow the code I wrote on the screen. I am going to make 3 DC together. So yeah, I forget to film it for the last key, but this is how I do it. 3 DC together, and then I'm done with this. This is very beautiful. Alright, and then for the bush, I will make the puff stitch, you know. So I start making the rose bush around row 17. In the middle of the row, I make the puff stitch, you know. When you make puff stitch, it's like you are going to make like 3 HDC, and then you will remember that you have like 4 loops on the hook, and then you pull the yarn through all of them, and this is the puff stitch, you know. And after that, you just put the hook into the stitch and make slip stitch in order that the puff stitch is attached to the work. Okay, and this is the first row, and then for the second row, we are going to make 3 puff stitches in the center of row 19. Oh, sorry, row 18. Okay, so we make a little bit like in a little bit of the right side, 1 stitch from the right side of the puff stitch on the first row. Okay, this is my first puff stitch of the second row. Okay, and then don't forget to slip stitch. Okay, like this, and then make one stitch, make one chain, and then go to another stitch. Keep making puff stitch. So you make it for 3 times, and then you just pull the yarn through 4 loops, and then make one chain. Okay, and then you go for the last one. Okay, pull the yarn once. Okay, again. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we have 3 puff stitch in the second row, and then you fasten off. You will fasten off every row, and then for the third row you will make 5 puff stitches in the center of row 19. So keep in mind that you need to make one chain between these puff stitch. So for the first one, you will make one stitch right from the row 2. Okay, and this one is the first puff stitch. Okay, and then don't forget you need to slip stitch first. Slip stitch to attach the puff stitch. Okay, now let me script it, and we make 5 puff stitches in this row 19. Okay, after you finish it, don't forget to fasten off. Okay, and then for row 4, we are going to make on row 20, we are going to make 3 puff stitches in the right side of the heart. Okay, don't forget that between each puff stitch, you will need to make one chain. So you guys, if anybody didn't know how to make a puff stitch, you can find the instruction from Google or even on another YouTube channel. I will post the link in case you want to learn how to do it properly, because if it's too fast in my video, I didn't teach how to do the stitch, so you can just learn it from the graphic or something. Okay, and then after you make 3 puff stitch, you need to skip one stitch and then slip stitch, and then make another 3 puff stitches in the left side of the heart. And then after you finish this row, you can just fasten off, and then please note that don't forget to make one chain between each stitch. And then you will get something like this. And then for row 5, you work on row 21, and then you will have to slip stitch the yarn in between on top the yarn in on top of the stitch you made in previous row. So you don't need to go one stitch left or right anymore. You don't need to go one stitch right anymore. You need to work exactly on that stitch, and then you will make 2 puff stitch on each side of the heart. So on the right side, you are going to make 2 puff stitch. Don't forget that between each stitch you need to make one chain. So don't forget that after you finish these two puff stitch, you will skip 3 stitch, and then you make another 2 puff stitch on the left side of the heart, the same way you work on previous row. And now we are done with this, and then you can add the rows. For the rows, I use the lace yarn with 1.2 mm hook. This is quite small. And then I can just slip stitch and then make chain. For the big rows, we're going to make 13 chain and then turn and then make SC and then increase and then HDC increase for 9 times, and then 4 HDC in the same stitch, and then fasten off. And now what I'm doing is the big rows. So now I'm keep making 2 HDC in the same stitch. When I say HDC increase, it means 2 HDC in the same stitch. Okay. And let me script when I finish it. Okay, now I finish the big rows with the last stitch of 4 HDC in the same stitch. After you finish it, you can just fasten off. Okay, yeah, fasten off. And then this one is a little bit hard. You need to put the hook from the hook you are at the end of the rows, put through the layers of the row like this, and then you make slip stitch. Okay, alright, and then we can easily attach the load on the surface, without sewing, and then you can make 5 roses. Alright, and then make the tree stem. For the tree stem, use 4-ply yarn and 3 mm crochet hook as well. Make 26 chain and then make 5 slip stitch like this. Okay, now I finished making 5 slip stitch. After that, make 5 HDC. Make 1 chain first and then make 5 HDC. After you finish making 5 HDC, you can basically make 5 DC. And after you finish this row, you can just fasten off. Okay, and then after that, we're going to make the slip stitch yarn in between HDC and slip stitch stitches, So put it in the middle of the T-stem and then make 6 HDC again, and then you are going to make 5 slip stitch. And after you finish this, you can just fasten off. After that, you can attach it below the bush and then sew it. And then you are going to make the bush to make it fussier. So we are going to make slip stitch the yarn in the surface of the bush, and then you make 3 chain and then make a C. Okay, and then make 3 chain and then make SC. So we make 3 chain and SC in each stitch around the heart shape. Okay, 3 chain and then SC, 3 chain and SC. Okay, keep doing this until you complete one round, one charm around the heart. Okay. Alright, now we continue making SC and 3 chain all around. And this is how you done it. This is very beautiful. Okay, for the frame, for the size of the book, it would be at least 14 cm times 21 cm. because this one is the minimum size that you need. And I also use the 4-ply yarn 3.5mm crochet hook as well. I make it in half black and half white. I will show this one because it's more complicated. Okay, and then for the first row you are going to make 35 chain and then turn and make 2 these, and then you make 2 chain and then turn, and then you keep making 35 HDC. So now we make HDC. So I will make half white and half black. And if you have the bigger books or notebook, you can increase the number of the chain, but this is my minimum size. You know, you need at least 14 times 21 books, you know. Okay, now I'm finished row 2 and row 3, and then we need to work separately on each side from row 4 from now on. This is row 4. I make 2 chain and then turn. I try to show you the white part because it's easier to see. And then you make 5 HDC on row 4, and then make 2 chain and then turn, and then make HDC increase. Okay, HDC increase means that you make 2 HDC in the same stitch. And after you make HDC increase, you are going to make 4 HDC. After you finish row 5, you are going to have 6 stitches. Okay, I think this is not very complicated. You can just continue row 6 to row 18 from the code I wrote on the screen with white color. And for this one, I wish you guys could capture the screen for your personal use only. Alright, and this is when I finish. And then you make another side, you work it separately. You repeat row 4 to row 18 in the back. And then you for row 19, you change color to white color, or if you do the white side, you change it into black color. For row 19, you will make 2 chain and then turn, and then you make HDC 3 times together. HDC 3 times together. So 3 HDC together. Okay, it will be like this. So you just decrease the stitch by 3, and then make 13 HDC, and then for row 20 make 2 chain and then turn, and then you make 9 HDC, and then you will make 3 HDC together like this. Oh, this one is quite complicated. Okay, and then you have 10 stitches. Alright, and then for row 11 and for row 21 and 22, just follow the code I wrote on the screen. And then for row 23 to the last row, which is row 34, you can follow the code I wrote on the screen. It's not so complicated. And then when you finish row 34, as I mentioned, you will need to work on the top of the key by continue making SC on top of the key. So on the key, if you remember, you will have 11 stitches left, right? So that is the reason why we make 11 SC on top of the key, but I make half in white and half in black. But after you finish making 5 SC in white, don't forget to change the color into black. And then after you finish 6 HDC, after you finish 6 SC in black, don't forget to slip stitch to join both sides together. I join another side in black. I make a slip stitch at the edge of another side. Okay, I make slip stitch already. Then for row 35, you can slip stitch the yarn in, the black yarn in the right side of the work, and then you first make 2 HDC together and then make 18 HDC. After that, change to white color, make 17 HDC and then decrease. And then follow 16, just follow the code I wrote on the screen. Okay, after you finish that, you can sew the key layer under the frame like this. Okay, sew it under the frame. And then we're going to make the edging of the keyframe, so I call it keyframe, and we're going to use the bridge color or the cream color, and then start from the lower left side and then make this following part. I divide into part. This is part A. For part A, I make 20 SC up all the way from the left side like this, and then for part B, I make it at the corner. I make everything in one stitch, from 1 SC and then 1 chain and then HDC and then 1 chain and then SC. So we make all of this in one stitch, in same stitch at the corner. And then we continue to part C. Part C we just make 21 SC up until the top. So now you are going to make it on the curves. Alright. And then it is on the curve, and then going to part D. For part D, I make it at the corner first. We make HDC at the corner and then make HDC increase, which is 2 HDC in the same stitch at the corner. Okay, 2 HDC increase and then HDC and then make 3 SC, 3 slip stitch and then 3 SC on top of the key. And after you finish, this is I am making 3 slip stitch right now, and then I'm going to make 3 SC again. Okay, and then make HDC and then HDC increase and then HDC. Alright, okay, this is HDC and then HDC increase. HDC increase, okay, and then make HDC. Alright, and now we finish part D on top of the keyhole. Okay, alright, and then part E we make 21 SC down until the corner. At the corner, we are going to do the same thing, make SC and then 1 chain and then HDC and then 1 chain and SC in the same stitch. Okay, this is part F. Alright, and then for the next part, which is part G, we are going to make 20 SC down the right side like this, and then when you finish it, you are going to be at the corner of the right lower side. And for row H, for part H, we are going to make SC at the base. So this one I also recommend you to make on the front loop only. Okay, like this. Now we are done. This is very beautiful. After that, we make the same thing for the frame on the other side using the pure green color. And also, don't forget to make the key frame as well in the green color. Alright, and now we are going to decorate the mushroom with orange yarn using the embroidery technique. So I'm doing is lining in order to outline the shape of the mushroom. So I use the orange yarn to outline it like this. Okay, you try to conceal where you want to conceal the imperfection like that, and then make the light yellow to outline the below part of the mushroom in order to make it clearer to outline the shape of this mushroom. Okay, now we are done. We are going to make some chain around the tree as the branches of the tree. So this one will depend on your design, but you can see me as a reference. So you are going to slip stitch the brown yarn in, and then you make chain as long as you desire. Yeah, like this. And then after you make chain, you can just slip stitch at your destination first, and then you keep slip stitch back the whole line until you reach the beginning of the chain. Okay. After that, you can use the same technique by slip stitch the yarn in the surface where you want it to start. Okay, I want it to start right here to make another branch, and then I may slip stitch the yarn in. Okay, and then I will keep making chain as long as I want. Alright, like this. And then I can just slip stitch at the destination point, maybe like this. Okay, maybe as long like this. And then I will make slip stitch back. I will slip stitch in the chain back to the original point. Okay, please note that when you slip stitch, you can put the yarn through the surface as well in order to make sure that your branch will be attaching to the surface of the work. And then you can add more branches as you want to. So the thick branches you can make chain and then slip stitch, but for the thinner branches you can only just make chain and you don't need to make slip stitch back, you know. So you can make chain and then you can make another branches using only chain because it's supposed to be thinner sometimes, you know. Okay, I hope you guys can design the tree you like, and this is just a guide to make the tree. Okay, when you have a desired length, you can just slip stitch like this. Okay, I hope you guys can do it. This is not actually this might not be the same for everyone, but it depends on your design. Okay, and this is the final when I finish the tree. And after that, I am going to make the book spine. I make the cream color, and I will going to make at the edge of alongside the edge of the front part. On in the edge of the front part, you can decide whether which one you would choose to be the front. For me, I will make the code according to the screen, so I make DC. And then after you finish that, you can just join it with another side of the books, you know, join it with another page. Yeah, by making slip stitch through the spine and the other page. So basically I will pierce it through both layers and then just pull the yarn as slip stitch through the green layer and the spine. Okay, you will get something like this. Alright, and then just keep doing that until you finish. Then this is your book's cover, almost finished. And then we are going to make the holder using the lighter yarn because it's supposed to be lighter, because it's going to be inside the cover of the book. So I use the lace yarn with 1.2 mm hook. For the first row, I make a SC, 2 SC in each row because of the lace yarn is much smaller than the 4-part yarn. So we make it like very small, and we make 2 SC in each row. For each row is like it's row from vertical side, so it's normally bigger. Okay, and then when you finish the first row, the second row you make 3 chain and then turn, and then you make DC. Yeah, you make DC and then you make one chain and skip one stitch, and then make DC, and then you make one chain, skip one stitch and make DC, and then you repeat it until the end of the row. And then follow 3 to 5, you would do the same thing for this 3 row, which is 3 chain and then turn, and then you make DC. But when you make DC, put the DC in the hole, you know, one chain and then DC in the hole and then one chain, and then keep repeating this until the end of the row and until the end of the row 5. And after you finish row 5, you can just fasten off. After you finish the holder, you can just fold it like this, and then we are going to make 5 SLST 5 slip stitch to attach the holder to the surface of the book cover. We use 4-ply yarn and then 3mm hook as well, and we make 5 slip stitch, you know. And then after that, after making 5 slip stitch, you can just make the edge of the upper side of the books by making SC along the top. Yeah, make SC like this, and then don't forget to change the color according to the color of the book itself. Okay, now I change color to white and then keep making SC until you reach the spine. When you reach the spine, change it into the spine color, which is a bridge color, and then you make 4 HDC on the spine and then keep making SC along with the corresponding color. For the last 5 stitch, make sure that you need to attach the holder by making slip stitch. When you make slip stitch, don't forget that you need to put the hook into both layers of the fabric and then make slip stitch with both of the layers together. Alright, make 5 slip stitch, and then when you finish, you can fasten off. Also, don't forget to make another side, repeat it as well for the bottom side as well. And also I attached the 3mm elastic string to help attach the cover to the notebook. Yeah, you cut it shorter than the length of the books itself, and then you can just sew it like this. Sew it to the bottom side first, and then you can sew it again to the top side as well, and this is the result of it. Okay, and it is your own choice to shoot the photo, whether it is going to be in front or in back. And this is now how I wear the book cover to protect your beloved notebook. This is my pattern book, so I use it to design the pattern for you guys, and I really love this book though, so I need to use the cover for it to protect it, you know. Let's move to the sweet applique. You need to make this following component. Okay, first of all, we are going to make the teapot. Okay, for the teapot, you start off with 5 chain, and then 1 chain, and then turn, and then make increase in the second stitch from hook. Okay, increase, and then SC, increase, SC, and then increase. After you finish this row, you are going to have 8 stitches. Okay, and then for the third row, make 1 chain and then turn, and then make 8 SC, Okay, and then for the fourth row you will make a one chain and then turn, one chain and then turn, and then make a decrease, SC decrease for 2 times, SC decrease for 2 times. After you finish the fourth row, you are going to have 5 stitches. And then for row 5, you change the yarn to light pink color, make one chain and turn, and make decrease, and then make SC, and then the last one is decrease. After you finish this row, you are going to have 3 stitches. Okay, after that you change the color to white. Yeah, and then continue row 6 with one chain and then make 3 SC together. So when you make it, make sure you have 4 loops like this, and then just pull the yarn together with yellow. Change it to yellow for row 7, and then make 2 chains and then turn and then make slip stitch into the base. You know that will become the circle, and then you just fasten off like this. Okay, now we complete with the main part, and then just slip stitch the yarn in. Use the white yarn to make the edging. I'm going to make the edge with SC around the pot. You know, just slip stitch the yarn in and then keep making SC around. After you make a C under the pot, when you go to another side, we will make a 4 chain. We make 4 chain, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and then make SC. Make SC and then decrease. Then skip the last chain and you just go slip stitch on the pot like this, and then make 2 SC on the pot, and then just fasten off. To make the handle, just slip stitch the yellow yarn in, and then make around 5 chain, and then skip 2 stitch and make SC, and make a slip stitch on the pot. Okay, make slip stitch on the pot like this. For the harsh patchwork on top of the pot, we may use the lace yarn with 1.2 mm crochet hook. Make 2 chain in the middle of the pot, and then make DC. Okay, DC, and then make 1 HDC, and then make 1 chain, and then make slip stitch like this, and then make 1 chain, and then make HDC, and then make DC. You work all of this on only one stitch, and then you make two chain, and then you make slip stitch at the base. So all of them you work on only one stitch, and then you can just fasten off. After that, you can just sew the heart to the pot, so you can make the shape. You can embroider your own shape. You can use my guide right down here. I am doing this in order to sew it and how to make it shape look like the real heart. Okay. Now I get a very beautiful heart. Okay, and then I would add something. I embroider the line as follow in order to make the cute pattern for my teapot. Okay, then let's move to the hat part. For the hat, we start off with 6 chain. Okay, after you make 6 chain, you then make 1 chain and then turn and then make 3 SC in the same stitch. Make 3 SC in the same stitch. 1, 2, and 3. And then make 5 SC on each stitch. Make 5 SC on the following stitch. And then for the last stitch, you would make 3 SC in the same stitch inside the last stitch. Okay, inside the last chain. Alright, you will get 11 stitches, and then just fasten off, and then you change the color to orange. Actually, it's not changing, but you need to slip stitch the yarn in the middle. Actually, you can change the color. Slip stitch the yarn in, and then make 1 chain and then turn, and then make 4 SC. In the middle of the hat, 4 SC. Alright. Okay, and then make 1 chain and then turn and then make 4 SC. So this one is the 4th row. You will need to make sure that for the orange part, it is in the middle of the hat. And then after you finish the 4th row, you change it to brown, and you will work 4 SC in back loop only. Okay, after that for 6 and 7, row 6 and row 7, also make 4 SC. Okay, and then for the last row, which is row 8, for row 8 you will make 4 increases. After you finish row 8, you will have 8 stitches. Yes, and then you can just fasten off. And then I'm going to make the butter cake at the bottom side of the hat. You can just slip stitch the yarn in the third stitch from the right side of the hat. So you can just estimate that when you make 4 SC, it will be in the middle. Okay, for the first row you make 4 SC as well, and for the first row I made a little bit darker yellow, and then I change the color from the second row to the lighter one. You can choose to change it or not. It's totally on your choice. For row 1, 2, and 3, I make 4 SC. For the bow, I start off with magic ring 2 SC. 1, 2, and then slip stitch in the ring. Make one chain first, and then slip stitch in the ring, and then make one chain, and then make 2 SC, and then slip stitch. Okay, and then 2 SC, and then make one chain, and then slip stitch in the ring, and then you can just fasten off. After that, you just pull the yarn to fasten the loop, and then you wrap around the middle. Okay, fasten off and use the leftover yarn to wrap around the middle. Okay, now after you wrap the bow, it is done, and then you can just attach it and then decorate. Okay, for the cake top, you will start with 11 chain and then turn, and then after that you turn and then make increase. And then make 8 SC, and the last stitch would be 3 SC in the same stitch. SC in the same stitch. Okay. Alright, now we are done, and then you can just fasten off. Then for the jam that dropping through the cake, we will start off with slip stitch the yarn in the second stitch from the right of the cake, and then we are going to work in the row. For the first row, we're going to start off with 4 chain and then make 3 slip stitch, and after that make slip stitch on the base. Slip stitch on the base like this, and then continue making 5 chain and then make 4 slip stitch back to the base. Okay, and then you can just slip stitch on the base as well, and then you continue the third one, slip stitch on the base. So normally when you slip stitch, I mean you need to skip one stitch first until you make slip stitch. on the base. Okay, and then you repeat it for 5 times. You totally will use 10 stitches. And then we move on to the place part. We're going to make the place, and we start off with 15 chain and then turn and then make 3 SC in the same stitch. Make 12 SC and then 3 SC in the same stitch. You will get 18 stitches, and after that you can just fasten off and slip stitch the pink yarn in and make 1 chain and then turn and then make 12 SC. And then after that, it's not very hard. You can just follow the code I wrote on the screen, but you can change the color for each row depending on your desire. Okay, after you have done making the cake, you can change the color to pink color and then start making the edging. Okay, by making the SC on the sides of the cake like this. Make SC along the sides, both sides of the cake. But when you reach the base, I'm going to make slip stitch, you know, at where between the cake and the plate. So you can just slip stitch through the stitch, you know, between the cake and the plate like this. Now I finish slip stitch and then continue SC at the other side of the cake. Okay, then after that, we will continue making the place, you know. We will make slip stitch at the edge of the place and then make 1 chain and then turn. And then at the corner of the place, we are going to make 3 increases. 1, 2 increase, and then 3 increase. Alright, and then you continue 12 stitches. Sorry, 12 SC. You continue 12 SC, and then the last one would be 3 increases, you know. Alright, and then you can embroider the heart with red yarn. I made the total of 5 hearts. You can follow the guideline that I made the embroider following this video. Okay. Okay, right, I almost done of this, and then 5 of them like this. Okay, and then for the cup, I made one with a cup of tea, and another one is without the tea. For the one with cup with the tea is quite complicated. So the first row would be 3 chain and then turn and then make SC, and then you make 3 SC in the same stitch. And then on another side, make increase. You will get something like this. It's like oval shape, you know. And then for the second row, you change color to light orange. Make 1 chain and then make 4 SC on one side, and then make 4 slip stitch on the other side. Okay, because we will continue making the cup on the size of 4 SC. Alright, and then now I start making 4 slip stitch. Okay, after you finish that, you will get something like this. After that, you change the color to white and start making 2 chain turn, make 4 HDC. Okay, and then after you make 4 HDC, just change it to use the lace yarn with 1.2 mm hook. After that, you make slip stitch around the edge of the cup. You might make 2 slip stitch in one stitch due to its tiny size of the lace yarn. Yeah. And then I also make it on at the edge of the cup. It means that around the top of the cup near the coffee, near the tea, you need to make slip stitch as well as the edge. Alright, then work on the other side as well. Make 2 slip stitch in one stitch maybe. Okay, and then make 10 chain and then make slip stitch on the cup in order to transform it as the handle. Okay, you get something like this. And then another cup, this one is without tea, so it's easier. Start off with 4 chain and then turn, make 3 SC, and then for the second row to the third row it is the same code, so make 1 chain and then turn and then make 3 SC. Okay, and then for the fourth row, change the color to light orange and then make 1 chain and then turn and then make 3 SC. You will get 3 stitches, and then after that you can just fasten off. Alright, you slip stitch the white yarn in and then make 5 chain and then slip stitch on the cup to form the handle. And now we are done. Okay, this is easier. Alright, this one is no tea and this one is with tea. I embroider the heart and the spread on the cup. Okay, and then the cupcake. Okay, this one is interesting. For the first row, you start off with the cream color with magic ring 3 SC. Magic ring 3 SC. And then you don't need to slip stitch to form the circle, no? You can just pull the yarn like this and make it like half circle, so you don't need to slip stitch. Alright, and then make 1 chain and then turn and then make increase. And then SC and then increase. After you finish this row, you are going to have 5 stitches. And then for the third row, you are going to make 1 chain and then turn and then make SC. Now you work on back loop only. You make SC and then 2 chain and then SC. Okay, and then you repeat all of this set in the parenthesis for 4 times to make a ruffle, to make ruffles for the cupcake. And then after you finish, you can just fasten off. Alright. Okay, and then after that, you will need to work on the back loop that you have, because you make a stitch through the back loop of the of the third row, right? So you have the back loop on the back side, and then for this it allows you to make the cup of the cake using the light brown yarn. For the first row, you need to make slip stitch the brown yarn in, and then make 4 chain, and then now I am making 3 SC, 1, 2, and 3 SC, and then you make you can slip stitch at the base. Okay, and then for the second row, you make 1 chain and then turn, and then you make 3 SC back loop only. 3 SC back loop start on on the previous row, which is row 1, and then you make 1 chain and then turn, and then make 3 SC on back loop only. This is row 3, right? Okay, for row 3, and then after you finish row 3, you will need to slip stitch at the base again. Okay, make 3 SC like this, and then slip stitch on the base, and then keep repeating row 2 and 3 until you finish row 7. Okay, keep repeating it like this. And then lastly, you will need to make the cake's bottom by slip stitch the yarn in, and then make 1 chain, and then you will make a SC in every other row. So it means that you will make the total of 4 SC like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and now you can just fasten off. Alright, and then you get something like this, and then you can embroider the cherry on the top, just like this. It's not very hard for doing decoration. Then you can just make a colorful topping. I use 3 colors: yellow, blue, and pink. Okay, now I'm done with this. Very beautiful. Okay, and also you can add more ruffle on it, like using the race yarn with 1.2 mm crochet hook. Then slip stitch the yarn in, make 3 chain, and then make SC, and then 3 chain and SC like this. So it will turn out to be the ruffle. And then keep doing so like this. Okay, and then also make the small place as well by following the code on this screen. It is very simple. Okay, and then I have all appliques, so we need to assemble it. So just like this. Alright, and then just arrange it like this, and then just sew attach each to the book surface, to the book's cover surface, as follow. Okay, so just attach them like this. This is very colorful and cute. Alright, and yeah, I'm done with this. Also the last one, I would make the rose white. So I will make the rose wire around the cream frame. I will guide you to make the stem, the leaves, and the roses, but you can decide it by yourself because the wire can go whatever that you want to. Okay, and this is an example of the leaf. Okay, I will make 5 chain, and then you make slip stitch on the book's cover surface like this. Make slip stitch. Okay, and this way it will attach the chain from the lace yarn to the book cover stitch. Okay, and now I already slip stitch, and then make the following slip stitch on the chain you make, like 5 chain, right? Make slip stitch, and then make SC, and then make HDC, make HDC. Okay, and then make SC. Okay, and then make slip stitch. Now it's on the chain, you know, on the 5 loop chain. Alright, and then now you get the leaves, and then you can just slip stitch on the surface as well in order to attach the leaf in. And then I will make the stem. For the stem, you can make 5 to 6 chain at the stem, and then you need to slip stitch on the surface all the time because it won't get too long or too short to make slip stitch. And then after that, you can just change the color to red, and then make either big or small roses. From the code I wrote on the screen, I used the same pattern from the roses on the previous part of the video. Okay, so this is the rose, and then you can roll it like this, and after that you can just put the hook through the layers of the rose, and then make one slip stitch to attach all layers together. So this way it saves your time a lot, and you don't need to sew each rose one by one. Okay, just put the hook through the layer of the rose, and then make slip stitch through all of them. Okay, and alright, and then you want to attach the rose to the surface, right? You can just make slip stitch on the surface. Okay, this one is pretty simple, and then you can change the color to green and continue making chain as a stem to any other direction as your design. So this one you can make your own design. You can change the rose to white, or either you can make big or small rose, or maybe you can make two leaves at the same time, 2 leaves together, or actually it depends on you. Okay, you can just make only stem and rose, maybe not the leaves. That depends on you. Okay, you can choose whatever that you want. I think it should depend on your own designs. Okay, now I try to make the leaves for 2 leaves near each other, and this one is pretty cute, you know. Okay, okay, now I try to make the small rose as well, because if you want to make it look good, you should combine big and small rose together. Sometimes you can put 2 roses near each other, maybe in different color, or maybe put it far above each other. Okay, try not to make it as a pattern because it is more natural. Okay, and then for butterfly, this one you use 4-ply yarn and then 3mm crochet hook as usual. We make slip stitch the yarn in, and then make 4 chain, and then turn, and then make DC in the 3rd stitch from the hook, and then make HDC. Then make HDC. Alright, HDC, and then make slip stitch on the surface of the book. Okay, make slip stitch on the book surface. Okay, after that, for the second wing, we make 4 chain and then turn, and then make DC in the 3rd stitch from the hook, and then make HDC. Alright, and then slip stitch on the book surface. Okay, now I finished 2 wings, and the third wing would be 3 chain and then 2 slip stitch, and then slip stitch on the book surface. Also for the fourth wing, make 3 chain and then make 2 slip stitch, and then make slip stitch on the book surface. So 1 and 2 is the same pattern, and wing 3 and 4 are the same pattern. Okay. Okay, and now I'm done with the butterfly. You get 4 wings like this, and then you can just decorate the butterfly using the backless yarn with 1.2 mm hook. You can just slip stitch the yarn in the top of each wing, and then you make 1 chain and then make SC and then SC, and then make DC like this. Okay, and then make SC. And then make 2 HDC in the same stitch. For the last stitch, make 2 HDC in the same stitch. Alright? Okay, now I'm done with this. You can repeat this step to every wings, the second wing as well, and also the third wing and the fourth wing as well. Okay, and then you are done with this. You can embroider the body as follows. So you can just repeat it many times until you get the shape that you want, like the body, first with the body, and this is how it's done. Okay. After you finish, you can decorate the roses as follow on the back side in the rose garden as well. Also, you can attach the golden chain and the key bookmark. You can learn how to make the key bookmark in my other video. The link is in the descriptions. You can make a bookmark attached to the book's cover like this. Also, you can decorate the rabbit paper clip to the lawn area as a decoration, and also the hedgehog as well. You can see the link for this tutorial in the descriptions. Okay, now we are done. This is very pretty. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel for more videos in the future. I try to make more videos, and also thank you so much. Goodbye.